Hello again, and welcome back to another edition of Austin's American Flyer, where today we're talking about the Lionel 060 switcher. We're going to look at it in operation and actually take it apart and see what makes it tick. Today on Austin's American Flyer. You don't want to miss it. Today on Austin American Flyer, we're going to check out a brand new technology from American Flyer through Lionel, or Lionel. And I know I'm saying that wrong according to some of you, but anyhow. So please join me today on Austin's American Flyer as we take a look at something that's not 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. All right, let's go. So before us is the exposed innards of a Lionel 060. This happens to be labeled the Bethlehem steel, which is kind of cool. I took it apart for a couple of reasons. One was I was curious how it was put together, and I wanted to also look at some of the assembly a little more closely. I thought probably I should lubricate things really well. I have no idea how much this engine was run before I got it. The box had a little bit of scuffing on it, but it could be unrun or almost brand new for as far as I know. I saw a little bit of smoke activity when I first put it on the rails. I added some smoke, but not very well. It didn't smoke very well. I was kind of disappointed. Also, the chuff was really weak. In fact, I couldn't tell for sure that it had one. So then the next day I added more smoke fluid, being aware that I've heard stories of the smoke generators on these things burning out because they don't get enough oil, or burning out, shorting out because they get too much oil. So I put more oil in it, smoke fluid I should say, and ran it for a little bit. Didn't see any smoke whatsoever. So then I thought I better take it apart. I don't want to ruin it. So that prompted. So before us is the disassembled engine, and so I want to point out the smoke unit. I did check it. It does get power. It does get AC power. There is a tiny little piston. So those of you that are familiar with the 440s from Flyer and the HO style smoke units, I would say this is very similar to one of those. Tiny piston. It's got a little hole in the end. Then there's a chamber here where a small amount of air from the piston goes in. But then there's an offset. It's not lined up directly with the smoke unit for reasons I don't understand. But it's off to the side instead of straight in the middle. And the smoke that comes out, at least when it was working, was, I wouldn't say completely lazy, but it wasn't super aggressive. So anyhow, I took it apart. I sopped up some oil, smoke fluid, and then I gave it some power, which I do here for camera viewing purposes. And I did get some smoke being generated. I don't know if you can see this on the camera or not, but what I noticed is that only half of the wire is covered with this oil wick. So what I want to try and do is see if there's a way I can kind of wrap this around. What I'd like to do is wrap it around, so it's tight like that. Can't remember if this is stranded. Oh, it is stranded. Well, I could still use it. Okay. So what I'm going to do here put these together a little bit. Here's my pliers when I need it. And those of you that have these may have other ideas or better ideas of ways to do this. Kind of shooting from the hip here. Hoping this is going to work and be an improvement. So now, without actually reassembling it, I'm going to give it a throttle here and see if we get any smoke generating. The other thing I noticed is I got no smoke at low speeds, and then only when I put the engine under what I would say pretty extreme load, kind of bogging it down, did I see much smoke. And then it was, again, like I said, it was pretty weak. No smoke there, about 15% throttle. Let's go up to 25 or 30%. Nothing. Let's go up to 50%. Nothing. Let's go up to 75%. And now we're getting something. Go up to 100%. Just not very impressive. Maybe I'm spoiled with flyer smoke generators, I guess. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is see if I can maybe wrap my wire. Ah, hot. Yep, that's hot. Wrap my wire a little bit better. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put this back in there. There's a rubber gasket on the back side of this front piece, and then there's just 4 screws on one on each side. Keep everything airtight, smoke tight. Okay, now let's try the power again. That's almost 50% there. Let's see if I can. I don't have anything black. This is close. Yep, not seeing any smoke. Oh, maybe I should put this lid back on. Just start taking things apart because I was curious how things were put together. Try again. That'll force. Now we got a little bit of a chuff. No smoke. So up here about 75%. Okay, now we're getting some smoke. Trying to show you from a camera angle. Let's go up to 100%. Now, for what it's worth, that is probably a 75% improvement over what there was before, because like I said, I actually couldn't see anything when I brought it over here to the bench. So I don't have video footage of that. I guess you have to take my word for it.